Okay, we are here on WPPM 106.5 in Philadelphia with Jonathan Lovitz, Democratic candidate for state representative in the 182nd district. Thank you so much for being with us.
Great to be with you, Larry. Thank you so much.
So tell us about the 182nd district.
The 182nd district is an incredible place. It is, the center of Center City. It is the heart of commerce. It is the heart of arts and culture. It is the hub of transit and economic development and social growth in Philadelphia. Really, as Center City goes, so goes the rest of the city, and frankly, so goes the Commonwealth. So much of what drives innovation and opportunity throughout all of Pennsylvania happens right here. It's a really special place, and I'm just looking out my window at the district right now, and I see nothing but cranes in the sky. That's a good thing to see after so much sort of uncertainty and stagnation through the pandemic. We are growing, and we need to make sure we keep growing.
If elected, what will be your primary focuses in Harrisburg?
Well, one of the most important things is restoring some confidence in the leadership of the Democratic Party, of particularly this district, making sure that the people here know someone who deeply cares about the job, about their life getting better, about our city growing, is on the job 24/7 and wants to get it done well with real gravitas and with some real experience that I think we need. The things that I hope to accomplish, and I know it sounds tricky when we know Democrats will be in the minority for at least another cycle or two, although we're getting closer than ever, are all things that I think are fairly bipartisan, and I've seen in my experience lawmaking over the years can be done. Things like growing an economy that works for everybody, and that's everyone from small businesses to unions to working families. We can promote policies that drive growth and drive opportunity for everyone across the board. And then that goes with increasing public safety, and that's got to have a profound inclusion of equality and justice for all people. We can't let crime be a barrier here in the 182nd or anywhere else in Pennsylvania to growth. And that means common sense gun regulations, things we can all agree on, some common sense needs for increasing transit access and protections for people so that we can get people moving safely back to work, the kinds of things that get diverse communities back up on their feet and feeling like they've got skin in the game and a seat at the table again. And then finally, all things around the environment and schools, and I think they're inextricably linked. Our kids need fully funded, safer schools to grow, and we don't make red or blue schools the same way we don't make red or blue highways. Therefore, all of our kids, and they deserve the same kind of respect and dignity and funding across the board. And the same is true of the environment. Our kids aren't drinking out of red and blue water fountains. They're drinking out of water fountains, and they deserve to have them all be safe and clean, regardless of what county you're in Pennsylvania. So we have a lot that we can accomplish. And I think even in a minority, the Democrats can carry these values to build some serious consensus across the aisle and deliver on things that just make Pennsylvania a little bit more attractive for growth.
Okay, so there are 3 other Democrats in this primary. What makes you stand out?
Yeah, I think it's a real testament to the strength of a young, diverse bench. It's a good thing to see. We should be proud of that. And I think particularly the Democratic Party here in Philadelphia needs to keep growing and keep modernizing and keep reflecting who the Democrats of today really are. And that's a good thing. I think you see that in our race. Everyone's going to say that they're ready on day one. And I think that's an important talking point. But what sets me apart is that I've been ready on day one for the last 10 years because the job of being a state rep is what I do right now in my work at nonprofits and as an advisor for many NGOs across the country. I'm doing constituent service. I am doing bringing the money home for communities who need it. Most importantly, I'm lawmaking in ways that are bipartisan, that are consensus building, that are delivering the goods for people. On that map behind me are 28 pins in 13 states, including 4 right here in Pennsylvania, where I've personally helped write, lobby for, and pass laws that have helped small businesses, minority communities do better. And this is all communities: women, people of color, veterans, immigrants, LGBTQ people. all issues can be addressed through an economic prism that works for everyone. And I've seen that work. I've made the case all over the country that red or blue, everybody sees green. So even if the conservative side doesn't always agree with us on social issues, there's a way to make the case that it can and must be done for the good of everyone in the Commonwealth. And I think no one's more equipped for that than I am. Plus, also, I'm the only union member in this race, and union labor is under attack in this country, certainly in Pennsylvania. They are the bedrock and backbone of growing our Commonwealth since the beginning. And as someone who's been a union member for 15 years, it means the world to me to have so much union support and to be one of the few card-carrying members who will be on the House floor soon.
One of the most important relationships the city of Philadelphia has is its relationship with Harrisburg. How would you make this relationship better for the benefit of the city and especially the schools?
Oh, it's so important. I think one of the things that we don't do nearly enough of is throw Philly's weight around at Harrisburg. It's far too much us against the world up there. And I think we, especially with so much of leadership in the Democratic caucus and really across the House majority or House leadership, being from the Philadelphia delegation, we have more work to do to show people that we are not to be taken for granted, that our schools here put out some of the smartest, most equipped students in America, but we should be giving them the resources they need so that they don't have to scrape and fight their way out of a school system to then find opportunity. We wouldn't put these kinds of restrictions on other school districts, especially whiter school districts around the country. I think there is not nearly enough being done to promote the economic importance of Philadelphia. You know, some of the most important job creators and industry innovators in the entire Commonwealth are right here in this district, right in the heart of Center City, Philly. And we need to leverage that to get more done across the state, saying, you know, you take, we give, and it's important that you give back. And I think one of the most important ways that we can address some of the inequities between sort of the Harrisburg and Philly relationship is helping pass policies that pull back some of the preemption that exists. We know how to take care of our own here in Philly, and we're being stymied by these way out of date laws and policies in Harrisburg that say you can't figure that out on your own without the state's buy-in. Sure, we can. We should be dealing with the unique needs of a gun epidemic, of healthcare inequities, of school inefficient school funding here at home in a way that folks in other counties just can't understand if you don't live here. So give us the tools back, give our leadership the tools they need to be able to bring the money and resources home. We can do it. I know we can. We're Philly. It's what we do.
Many of Philadelphia's leaders believe that the gun violence problem could be solved with better gun regulation. Harrisburg has traditionally disagreed with that. What would you do to facilitate a conversation about this?
As the only Everytown for gun safety recognized gun sense candidate in this race, and as a former victim of gun violence myself, this is deeply important to me. And this is a citywide issue. This is not something that you could say, oh, it's happening up there, or it's happening in another neighborhood. It's happening everywhere, to every community and every demographic. We all have skin in the game of addressing gun violence. And some of the simplest measures that can be taken to start reducing some of this gun violence can be done on a bipartisan basis. There is bipartisan support for every family with a gun who has children to have free gun locks, to have mandatory training for how to use them. People are willing to subsidize and give them away. We can do that. Everyone agrees that that is important to keep kids' lives safe. Again, guns don't belong to red and blue families. They belong to families in Pennsylvania. We want to keep all of their kids safe. We also need to be much more stringent on background checks and also the mental health care apparatus around the gun ownership conversation, that we are not helping nearly enough people who are seeking guns to get access to the care that they need that might help them forget that they ever needed one in the first place. One of the highest communities being affected by gun violence, particularly suicide, are those suffering from depression and mental health disorders. Let's get them help and get a gun out of their hands. That's what they really need.
What will you be able to do in Harrisburg to impact Philadelphia's poverty epidemic?
Jobs, 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 and then some more jobs. One of the things that I think is creating a series of have and have nots in Philadelphia is that we're stratifying where the work is. We're separating people too far from where the jobs are and where the transit is. Let's get people let's get reinvestment back into SEPTA and other forms of public transit so we can get people going to the jobs that they want to have where they live, so that we're not forcing communities to split apart and people to move because of rent prices and things like that. Let's keep investing in local communities to grow small businesses that are full of new jobs, incentivizing corporate growth in these big downtown corridors that not only incentivize bringing people to work, but then help communities around them flourish. As the longer Comcast sits half empty, it's not their building that suffers, it's the parking garages and the bodegas selling bagels and coffee downstairs and the after work happy hours and everything else. It's one of the things that I talk about a lot with so many arts institutions here in the district. Too many people are answering surveys saying, oh, we don't feel like coming to the Kimmel Center anymore because it's not safe. But think about the collateral damage of making a choice like that. You spend $50 on a show ticket, yet you drink, you park, you go to a hotel, you hopefully spend some money at a local restaurant and shop. And all of these people get jobs because you came to the city to support our arts and culture. Excuse me. And that is so important to thinking about addressing the poverty issue, that we all have to be investing here locally with our dollars, supporting local businesses, supporting local industries so they keep growing. And part of that is making sure that incentives from the state keep coming back here. We want to keep incentivizing small businesses to grow by giving them more tax credits for more hiring and for, allergy season. Incentivizing growth by also buying locally. And we need to, one of the things I worked on with Governor Wolf since 2016 is expanding state procurement to make sure more Philly and PA businesses can support one another in city and state contracting. Well, that's a key way to make sure state dollars are creating jobs that lift people out of poverty here, is making sure our money is spent on our people, and we can definitely grow those programs.
What else should people know about you or your campaign?
That this is an honest campaign, a positive campaign. I have been in love with public service my whole life. I've only ever worked in nonprofits as an adult. And I believe that service has to be a core part of who you are if you want to represent people in a legislature. One of my core beliefs is it doesn't have to happen to you for you to give a damn. That, we hear a lot about lived experiences making people's campaigns better, and that's true. But so does being a good listener and a good ally with a proven background of delivering for every community. That is more important. Your ability to go and not just be a megaphone, but to also be, a hammer that can get it done for the people who send you there. I have worked my whole career for LGBTQ people, women, people of color, veterans, immigrants across these communities. And though I may not be a member of them, my work experience has put me in the room and at the table in ways I can help. And if I'm at the table, you're at the table. And that's why I think everyone from labor to business to community leaders to religious leaders, so many walks of life in Philly are standing with this campaign because they know we've got the goods to back it up. And the theme of my campaign is let's make a difference. Not only I can, not I'm the only one who can figure this out, but let us get it done together by actually restoring faith in the process of collaboration, expertise, and working towards a common goal. I think we've lost sense of the greater good, particularly in this sort of left on left fighting we see too much on primaries. It is about all of us succeeding or none of us do. And I think my campaign is leading with those values that we are all going to rise together. Philly's counting on Center City to grow and be a beacon of opportunity and hope for everyone. And we need to send someone to Harrisburg to represent it that is a shining beacon of hope and opportunity for all. And I think we can do that.
Where can people learn more about your campaign?
Join us at lovitzforpa.com, LOVITZFORPA. All of our social media is at lovitzforpa. Be in touch. We'd love to hear from you. This is an open communication campaign at all times. We are people powered, and we want to hear from you and make sure we are delivering on what you need as Philadelphians and as Pennsylvanians.
Jonathan Lovitz, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, my friend. See you on Election Day.